preps to pros and everything in between. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant, back in studio as you don't hear the crowd of yesterday. But, you know, it was a good day yesterday. Enjoyed that.
You know, it was a good day. We got some compliments on the show. I think sometimes being out is a good thing.
Yeah, you know, sometimes when you are, I guess, more focused either on what we're doing because there's other stuff going on around you have to be more focused, or kind of loosens you up too. So we had good discussions yesterday.
Mm-hmm.
And those discussions will continue, at least briefly, in our top story. At least one of those discussions will continue in our top stories here in just a few moments. But, man, we got a good show for you today. In the next segment, we'll talk a little high school volleyball as Summertown Loretto, part 743 over the last 3 years. At least it feels like it. But they will take the court tomorrow in the winner's bracket finals of the Class A state volleyball tournament. And I mean, who knows what's going to happen, but if we don't see them both on Friday, I'll be a little surprised. That's all I'm saying. No matter who wins tomorrow, I will be a little surprised if both of them are not back on Friday. But we'll talk to Andrea Kelly, Summertown volleyball coach, in the next segment. We obviously have Terry talking a little NASCAR to close out hour one. We'll talk some college football in hour two because there's some Fun Belt action tonight. So always fun to talk about that. Of course, we'll continue that conversation that we've been having about, you know, what is the landscape of college football right now. We've got some surprises that we've seen, but also it just feels like everything is up in the air. So we'll talk about that. Braves and Dodgers in hour two as well. Game 4 tonight. Game 3 was a bummer, but it is what it is. As you can tell, Mo not worried, sporting his pearls.
Oh, I'm worried. That's why I'm sporting my pearls.
So, trying everything I got.
Hey, got to get some mojo going, man.
Yeah. It's also Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We'll give you the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. But before we do any of that, we have to give you yesterday and today's results and today's schedule on the rundown.
This is the Rundown.
Magic fingers.
In state volleyball tournament action from yesterday, Loretto opened Class A tournament play with a 3-0 win over Loretto Open State Tournament play in Class A with a 3-0 win over Eagle. There we go. Summertown defeated Sail Creek 3-1 in Class A. And in Class AA, Lawrence County fell 3-0 to Dyer County. In earlier action today in Class A, Loretto defeated South Green 3-0. Summertown defeated North Green 3-0. Yes, they're from the same county.
And yes, they're from the same county.
Exactly. Yeah.
In girls soccer action last night, it was Culleoka 2, Cheatham County 1, and Huntland a 5-1 winner over Hickman County, setting up another Huntland Culleoka part 734 or whatever.
Right.
Oh, man.
Bowling today, as we speak, Santa Fe is at Kingpin Lanes in Lawrenceburg taking on the host Wildcats. And in state volleyball tournament action at 5 o'clock, Lawrence County faces Sullivan East at Rockvale in a Class AA tournament elimination game.
That's going to do it for your rundown on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. So as we were talking to Chip Walters yesterday, and I almost said Kelly, Andrea Kelly coming up, I guess. Chip. Yeah. Anyway, Chip Walters, the voice of the Blue Raiders. We were talking about Conference USA and where do they go from here? Well, it turns out the reason that the American Athletic Conference, or at least one of the reasons that the American Athletic Conference chose to raid the Conference USA and Conference USA only, it appears, is because the Sun Belt was off limits. And I guess I can see that.
By what edict?
Because apparently ESPN has the TV rights for the Sun Belt and the AAC, and they said, "Well, you're not gonna touch the Sun Belt teams because
we like the Sun Belt just like they are.
Obviously,
Fun Belt. I mean, the AAC doesn't have a nickname.
I think you're right. I think part of this is one reason why the AAC and the Sun Belt just kind of left CUSA out in the cold. When CUSA tried to, put them all in a pot and divvy them up.
Well, see, and part of that goes back some time because at one point the Sun Belt approached CUSA about, let's throw everybody together and divvy them up. And CUSA apparently said, we're good.
Yeah,
So that's the big thing, or that's a big thing currently going on. Too many egos.
Well,
Too many folks with long memories, like I'm somebody to talk. And
God, JP, he just take a drink and he's trying to not to spit it out.
sorry, JP, my bad. I mean, I get the long memories, but sometimes you got to let it go. Talking to myself as much as anything, but too many egos.
Yeah, and Conference USA used to have a big one until the AAC came along, and when they took Cincinnati and Memphis and they took their big dogs, CUSA literally became on even playing field with the Sun Belt.
Right.
And then the Sun Belt in football, especially, has far surpassed Conference USA.
Well, and you have to look no further than tonight.
Tonight, exactly. I mean, Coastal Carolina and Appalachian State.
Both of whom have been in the top 25 in the last couple of years. Coastal Carolina's in it now and has been for the last year and a half.
That's right. So, I mean, this is kind of it. This could be the final nail in the Conference USA's coffin if the Sun Belt decides to expand and they go and get the remaining Conference USA teams like Southern Miss. I'm not sure if FIU and FAU are in that AAC. I don't remember.
I don't remember
if they
either. But they're one of the Fs left the Sun Belt for Conference USA, as did MTSU and Western, and so I think they are kind of on the do not disturb list of the Sun Belt at this point.
Even still, I think in the long-term aspects, I feel like you can't just leave them down there. And especially when you have USF and you have – so somebody's got to take them, even if it's the AAC or not.
Well, FAU left the Sun Belt for Conference USA, so I'm not sure what FIU's situation was, but I mean they could probably get over it for FAU. I think Middle and Western, both from a footprint standpoint and otherwise, it might be a tougher go for them. So here's a couple of things that you might see if things get too desperate in Murfreesboro and Bowling Green. One, the Mid-American Conference.
The MAC is an option.
Little MACtion. That could be interesting.
And would be a good option.
Two, what if Middle and Western played independent football and went to the Missouri Valley for everything else?
Or even Ohio Valley. I don't know that.
No, I don't think that'll happen. I mean, I guess it could if they were going independent for football, but I think at this point the OVC would probably want somebody to come in for football as much as anything. I think the OVC ship has probably sailed
they would
for
tell
both those.
everybody. I think they'd take anybody that would come, but Missouri Valley would be, oof.
Yeah. And think about that for a minute. Think about who's already in that conference for basketball, and then you add MTSU and Western.
Yeah, there are some interesting scenarios out there, and we will continue to talk about them.
Yeah, because they'll continue to be interesting. By the way, there is a statement from MTSU Athletics Director Chris Massaro on their Twitter account at MT Athletics that came down yesterday regarding some conference alignment thoughts. And it includes that they are proceeding with a $66 million phase of their athletics complex upgrade, which will include a new student-athlete performance center in the north end of Floyd Stadium, as well as other renovations in Floyd and Murphy Center. We will release more detail on these plans shortly. So
it's pretty big.
So wherever MTSU winds up, they're going to have some new facilities eventually to go with them. Much needed.
Yeah, no doubt. Looks like we are not going to get to the remaining top stories. High school volleyball yesterday, Lawrence County fell to Dyer County. That was a tough match for them. We talked about that one yesterday. And, of course, Summertown Loretto, we've already talked about that. I did want to mention this, though, before we get out of here. Joe Burrow, who suffered a throat contusion 2 weeks ago, is on vocal rest. And I just don't know how that works if you're practicing, cadences, and I mean that's important when you're talking about a starting quarterback in the National Football League. So ahead of Sunday's big showdown against the Ravens, Burrow is not talking.
Wonder if you got a stand-in.
I guess, but it's still hard to mimic cadences.
JP is auditioning.
He knows a guy. Well, he looks just like him.
I'll tell you what, there's a difference in mic voice and football quarterback voice, I would think.
He looks like him, though.
He does kind of look like him.
I mean, it works out, yeah. Come back. We're talking to Andrea Kelly on the other side of the break. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader-building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game, You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit customstonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone & Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Local sports talk you'll only find here. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back into Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. We are coming to you from the Lee Company studio, WKOM 1017 FM, Front Porch Sports Headquarters, and WZYXradio.net. Glad to have you along with us here as we take you from preps to pros and everything in between. A little NASCAR even today. It is Wednesday, so we'll get to talk to Terry in the next segment, so stick around throughout the 4 o'clock hour. 5 o'clock hour coming at you as well with Wild and Wacky Wednesday, the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. Always a good time with the two zaniest guys this side of the Duck River.
Whichever side.
Whichever side we're on. Yesterday we were on the other side. But doesn't matter. We're still the zaniest. That's how it works. Yes, so got a lot to get to in the show, but we like to butter our bread with high school sports coverage because that is, in fact, our bread and butter. And in this segment, we would like to welcome in Summertown volleyball coach and tennis coach and all kinds of different things down in Summertown, Andrea Kelly, to talk about her Summertown Eagles rematch against Loretto coming up tomorrow afternoon. Coach, welcome in. Thanks for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Coach, does this get old?
That's kind of a loaded question. This is number 6, I think, for this year, regular season. And we had a few preseason matchups. It was in the 7 last year. So, we know what we're facing. So I don't know that it gets old because it's so exciting. And so the matches usually really, goes to the end. So we're excited to be in this place that we're in. We're just hoping we show up tomorrow.
And I guess that's a concern when you look at the fact that I think going back to the end of the 19 season, you guys have beaten them 13 straight times. And I know it's Summertown, Loretto, and every meeting kind of stands on its own. But do you feel like, are you concerned that maybe they have an edge that you guys don't?
I don't know if I'm concerned. I feel like, I mean, I will always, have to prepare to play them. There's always anxiety about playing them. Someone said, well, they have, we have everything to lose. They have nothing to lose because we beat them, that many times. But, I think if we my kids just kind of stay grounded in what we know what to do. The good thing is we know exactly what they're going to do. We know what their hitters can do. We've played them so many times for so many years in a row. There's not going to be a lot of surprises as far as what they're going to do to try to win points, and I'm sure they can say the same about us. So we know what we're getting, and we feel like we've prepared for that. And we just have to do our job each point, and I think we're going to be okay.
To kind of piggyback off of Mo there, maybe there is a chip on Loretto's shoulder, but the edge has to be there because, once again, you're defending your state title. And
plural.
Yeah, well, your state titles, exactly. Going for a third, that's still the goal. And no matter who is on the other side of that net, you guys kind of like Alabama football, really playing against perfection, not against an opponent.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard that analogy about Alabama too many times in the last few days.
Are you an Alabama fan, Coach?
I don't watch a lot of football, but my husband does. So I've heard that a lot. And I guess I take that a little bit as a compliment. But, our kids, if you've watched enough volleyball to know it's the ups and downs of the game. Mm-hmm. And, we have, Loretta's got a great team. Nothing bad to say about them. They've got a great team. But we've also got players that can play. And I think, and I've told the girls, if you guys can show up and give me the best volleyball that you can play, I think it'll be a very competitive game. And, the best team tomorrow will come out. And, if that's us, I hope so. If it's not, we're going to grind back in and try to get them the second time, just as they, had to do with us last year. So we're just excited to be there. I hope we're ready. I think we're ready. I feel like we're ready, but we'll see tomorrow.
Last year, you had Maya Cole Brown kind of step up in the especially the final match against Loretto in the state finals, but throughout that entire state tournament, obviously you have Katie Burdett, so you can't overlook her, but it always seems like there's somebody who's an unsung hero that steps up in these type matches. You got any ideas who it's going to be this time, or is it just whoever comes out and plays the best game of their career in the finals?
Well, I will say, just about every player that's on the floor this year played in that same scenario last year, with the exception of Abby Jo, our freshman, who has come in to play middle opposite Katie Burdett and done a fabulous job as a freshman. She came on big time for us at Summertown when we played them the last time in the region. Katie and Carly Weathers are going to battle it out. And honestly, Abby Jo had like 14 blocks against them at Summertown. Katie Burdett was the MVP, no doubt. She deserved it. But, Abby Jo was one of those that didn't get a lot of hype, but probably deserved as much because she came in with a lot of points when Carly Weathers was on the back row, and and Katie Burdett wasn't in the game because she just plays the front row. So I think Abby Jo's going to step up, but I've also got Carly Emerson, Lexi Newell, the setter, Katie Beth Gallagher, Ainsley Burleson. All those kids played last year and played a lot. So any of those kids could be that person that steps up and really shows out. I hope all of them show out. That would be best case scenario. But again, I'm, Abby Jo, I think is going to be huge. When Katie Burdett's out of the game, those are going to be the times. I think we're going to be even with them, working Carly against Katie. But when Abby Jo's in the front row, that's going to be probably the tell if it's going to be us or Loretto.
That's Abby Jo Schaefer that
Yes.
Coach Kelly is referring to. Coach,
Sorry, did you say Schaefer? Now I'm done.
I did.
I'm done for the rest of this interview.
Yeah. Conversely, Coach, besides Carly Weathers, who are you concerned with on the other side of the net?
Well, Lainey Weathers, cousin of Carly Weathers. They've got her. She's probably, I think is one of their top three, and the sister, Allie Weathers. So, it's the battle against the Weathers. Those are their three go-tos. And I don't blame them. I'd be going to them too if I was the coach of their team. So, I feel like if we can defense those three, and I'm sure they've picked out three of ours that they would love to, do the same. And I think if we can defense them, and hit the ball, we'll be okay. It's going to be a close game because it always is. But I'm confident in what we've worked for. I mean, we've played 46 matches this year and counting. So, we go to all these tournaments and do all these matches for this moment. So, we have done everything we can do. It's just going to matter, like I said, who really shows out tomorrow.
Carly Weathers, Lainey Weathers, Allie Weathers. I guess you're hoping it doesn't get too stormy tomorrow.
Yeah.
Done.
Yeah, exactly.
Coach, this team has been through this tournament. Like I said, you're going for your third consecutive. That experience obviously has to be a positive, but this team doesn't know what it's like to lose at the state tournament. And, I guess that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Do you feel like they're able to get up for this each and every time? Then tomorrow is going to be no different. I mean, it's a 2:30 middle of the day, probably going to have a decent student section there. Are you feeling like this team is ready?
I feel like we're as ready as we can be. And that whole, we were talking today to some parents after our game, our kids don't know what it's like to lose very often. And also it's just, when you've not been to the state tournament in a while and you get to go, it's huge and the adrenaline's there. When you've been, it's kind of old news, and that's something that's hard sometimes to overcome. We kind of get complacent, and so I'm hoping tomorrow, every time we play Loretto, our kids have a totally different composure when they walk in, because it's Loretto. And so I like that, because they know that that's probably the most important match every time we play them. So I'm hoping that that's what we do tomorrow. We come in and we're excited, and there's going to be some lows and highs. There always is in volleyball, and we just have to hope that we can have more highs than lows, or at least more highs than theirs. And we have a kind of our X on our back. I've told the girls all year, somebody's wanting to put you out. That's their goal. Let's put Summertown out. And so I'm hoping that puts some fight in them, and they show up tomorrow.
Coach, I don't necessarily want to put this in your universe, but to again follow up on what you and Chris were saying. It's been a long time since Summertown has lost in Murfreesboro. Worst case scenario, that happens. Is this team prepared to deal with that and battle back to Friday?
People who know me well know that I always think of all the scenarios that could possibly happen. And so I'm well aware that it could be, this could be possibly the time that they beat us. And, I think, which that would not be fun, would not be good. But, I think our kids, if that happened, that's just going to put even more fight in them. We would have to turn around and play at 7:30 tomorrow night to get back to Loretto. So, we thought about that. We don't talk a lot about it because that's not happened. But I think we would be fine. We've lost games this year, so it's not like we don't know how to lose at all. But, when we have lost, we've learned something. And so we're hoping if that does happen, we just fix what we've got to fix, and we just come back roaring and hopefully, get through that game at 7:30 and get back to them.
All right. Tomorrow, 2:30, winners bracket finals. I guess
loser plays again at 7:30.
Loser plays again at 7:30 against the winner of one of the
knows?
Greens and Eagleville and
Yes.
something or another. There's a lot of teams that are involved in that. So, it is what it is. But state championship again on Friday morning. So, going to be a lot of fun. Coach, thanks for taking some time with us today. We really appreciate it. Looking forward to tomorrow's match, as we always are when you two hit the hardwood. So, we appreciate your time, and good luck tomorrow.
Thank you so much.
Andrea Kelly, Summertown volleyball coach here on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint.
She doesn't watch a lot of college football because they're probably off at tournaments on Saturdays.
They're always playing.
So that's how you get to be, 42-4 or whatever it is that they are now.
Whatever they are. She cannot want to hear it. but the Alabama football comparison is certainly an applicable one. I mean, this is Summertown girls sports in general are a dynasty. When you're talking about, last year we talked about they played 5 girls varsity sports and either finished first or second in all 5 of them.
John Wild, the Summit girls basketball coach and Meet and 3 guru of Middle Tennessee, responded to a tweet that I put out about both Summertown and Loretto winning yesterday and said that dynamic, the athletic dynamic down there between those two programs, is one of the most fascinating things he's seen in 27 years of public school education. And, volleyball is just part of it, but I don't know if it's something in the water down there or what it is. Maybe JP has a little bit better insight to it, but
it's pretty impressive. It really is
the
impressive.
run that both those programs have been on athletically here over the last 2 or 3 years is.
Yeah, and it goes back to Andrea Kelly winning that tennis doubles championship with, the guy who's currently coaching Lawrence County's volleyball
with Steve Keaton as the coach.
It's just wild to me how all of that has become just commonplace down there. It is certainly amazing. We're going to talk NASCAR when we come back on the other side of the break. We've got Terry Wilcox, our resident NASCAR insider, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Stick around. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Maury County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Sports talk show you've always wanted. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. From preps to pros. Live from the Lee Company studio. With the Hall of Famer Mo Patton, here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant here with you on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon for now. I don't think it's going to stay beautiful, though. That's unfortunate because it certainly has been a fantastic week. Looks like there's going to be some weather coming in sometime tomorrow, but it's by the time we are on the air tomorrow, it should be cleared back up. So must be us. It's a beautiful day in the neighborhood. A beautiful day for a chicken man. That's right. It's time to bring in the NASCAR Insider.
Well, they blew up the chicken man in Philly last night. They blew up his house too.
Terry the Chicken Man Wilcox coming at you live here from the Lee Company studio and WKOM 101.7 FM, WZYXradio.net. A little Riley Green there to bring him in. Terry, stop me if you've heard this before, but last week, Kyle Larson gets the win.
Yeah.
It's almost like it's a broken record. We can just play this segment next week.
Yeah, it's the 8th win of the season, and it's going to take some bad luck for him not to win the championship. He's just that team is clicking on all cylinders. We knew what kind of driver he was. Everywhere he goes, he wins. He's in the prime of his racing career, if you will. I don't know. I don't. Who's going to stop him? Denny Hamlin's been running a very good second. If it wasn't for Kyle Larson, Denny Hamlin would be leading this. Well, actually, Ryan Blaney right now is hot too, but I think it would be Denny Hamlin's championship if if it wasn't for Kyle Larson. So, but we'll see. They got 2 more races in this round, and then the championship. So 3 weeks, and we're done.
Well, I don't want to get into ifs and buts and whatnots, and that's probably the only time you'll ever hear me say that on this show. But Chase Elliott and Kevin Harvick have certainly cost each other some points and some opportunities, and eventually has turned into NASCAR maybe even stepping in here. Yeah. What in the world is going on between these two? Well,
they have, and they got personal. Kevin Harvick's frustrated because his team is, he was fortunate even to be in the playoffs, but quite honest, his team is falling off. Whether it's the team, whether it's, the pit stop, whether it's his driving, I don't know. He's getting near the end of his career, and it's hard for drivers like that have been so dominant. Look at the last couple of years. He was winning 8 to 9 races a year, and now this year, wow, nothing. I think that's part of it. And for Chase Elliott's part, he doesn't care who you are. It doesn't matter whether you're been in the sport 20 years or a rookie. If you rub him the wrong way, he's gonna take care of it. He learned from his dad. That's what you do. You take care of it on the track, and he did. But Kevin Harvick didn't want to let it go, even though he was the one who actually initiated it. But that's beside the point. But yeah, NASCAR has stepped in.
So you're saying that Harvick started this at Bristol?
Yeah, I believe so.
And then essentially they made contact in Bristol, right? And he cut Elliott's tire.
Right.
And so Elliott comes back, gives him a little payback, and then it heads down to Charlotte in an elimination race where Kevin Harvick basically just runs into the back of Chase Elliott and says, hey, here you go, buddy.
He took 2 drivers out that race. First Chase Elliott and then himself.
I was about to say, then himself, and then turn 1.
Absolutely, because Chase Elliott would have done it if he hadn't done it for him. So, but that's got to end. That's over with. It's done. Let's move on. Any more contact that appears to be blatant, like those were, NASCAR is going to set somebody down probably for a race. That's what's going to happen. So, and it doesn't matter which driver. Chase Elliott is obviously the fan favorite. Kyle Larson is becoming a close second now, but still, it needs to end. They had their tussle. They each had their payback. So let's move on. You got to at some point. That's the way it always used to be. So let's move on. Let's race. And I tell you, if Harvick does anything to Chase Elliott at this next race, it's going to be hell to pay. That's all I can say.
So going into Kansas, 2:00, green flag on NBC Sports.
Yes.
Obviously, Kyle Larson on the pole. Ryan Blaney outside. And we're getting down to the nitty gritty here. Is what about Kansas is it that makes this race something that Kyle Larson can't win? Is there anybody here that poses a legitimate threat?
Yeah, there are. Ryan Blaney had an awesome car. He was the second best car in the field, and he was close. If he would have ever been able to get out in front of Kyle Larson, I don't know if Kyle would have got around him. They were that close. Ryan Blaney can run. Kyle Busch has run well there. Denny Hamlin, any one of those top runners, and Chase Elliott's going to be putting everything he has, because being in 5th spot, 1 below the cut line, he really needs to win. Of course, Joey Logano is going to be. He's one you got to watch out for, because he's going to go. He's not going around anybody. If you're in the way, he's going to go through you, because that's his only chance to get to move on, is he has to win the race. So you got a lot of drivers that are desperate for a win in order to move on. Even Brad Keselowski, he's only, what is he? He's I think It's 15 below the cut line, but it's tight. You know, you can't gain that many positions on the track unless somebody in front of you has a bad day. So I would say, like I said, I believe this is Kyle Larson at the end of the season should be in victory lane holding the trophy, but anything can happen. You could go to Phoenix and blow a tire or have a bad pit stop. You know, anything can happen, but if nothing bad happens, I don't foresee anybody being able to touch him. This has been his year. Drivers go through it. You know, Kevin Harvick and them, Chase Elliott last year had one. All these drivers have had a time at the top, and that's how even this series is. Anybody can get hot for, especially near the end of the season, if you're in the playoffs, and win the championship. So, you know, the three guys I look at right now are Kyle Larson, Ryan Blaney, and Denny Hamlin. I think your winner's going to come out of one of those three, but somebody else could surprise us. So you never know.
So, the manufacturer doesn't matter, huh? One of those three could win. That's a Chevrolet, a Ford, and a Toyota. So
you're exactly, and I didn't even pay attention when I said it, but you're exactly right. All three series are all three manufacturers, if you will, have a legitimate shot at a championship, and that's very important to each one of those drivers and each one of those teams. So they want their brand to be at the top at the end of the year. So.
All right, so you said Denny Hamlin. I gotta ask you this. I gotta ask you about Chase Briscoe, because Briscoe is racing pretty hard with Hamlin, and Briscoe ends up with a cut tire.
Yep.
And bounces off the wall, suffered some damage, and Hamlin says that's what he gets for being an expletive idiot. So, I mean,
that's not something I would want to have on his mind, Chase Briscoe's mind, going forward, because all he's got to do is, if I was him, I'd wait till Phoenix, and say, "Here we go, boy." If he makes it that far, which he should.
Yeah.
But yeah. This is in my view, the stupid part about this chase format. Yeah, now you're down to 8 drivers, but you got 40 cars in the field, and every one of them is paid by their owner and the sponsors to win that race. Why should they roll over and play dead, so to speak? You know, they need to. I don't care who it is in the front. I don't care if you're going after Kyle Larson. If you got a legitimate shot to win, even if you're not in the chase, why should you move over? You know, I don't. That's the bad part about having this chase format and having championship 4, which you're going to have in 2 weeks, and then everybody else is just out there lollygagging, driving around on Sunday. I don't know how to fix that without eliminating the chase.
Yeah, the lollygagging is annoying, but so here's what's not annoying is the Instagram exchange between these two. I'm going to read you what happened. So the NASCAR on NBC Instagram picture or video of the accident, and Chase Briscoe says, "If only I had 10,000 races worth of experience under my belt." To which Denny Hamlin replied, "Not sure you'll get there. There's cars racing for a championship. In case you forgot about taking out the leader and costing him 1 championship already this season. Perhaps when you learn, give and take, you will start to finish better." Chase Briscoe said, "I get paid to race. Just because you guys are racing in the playoffs doesn't mean I'm just going to wave you by. One of the best cars, that's right, we've had all season. I was trying to take advantage of it. I understand you guys are racing for a championship, which is awesome for you, but I'm racing for a job and the results that let me keep my job." And so that's kind of what you're talking about here is that, you know, these guys, there's a lot of guys who are still racing for a ride. I mean, Matt DiBenedetto doesn't have one.
That's right.
So
he doesn't.
This is a guy who next year isn't going to be in a car. So when he gets a chance to win a race, playoffs be damned.
I totally agree. That's what the playoff has caused. And like I said, yeah, he cuts down Chase Briscoe's tire and he goes in the wall. Now that team, even if he had not cut him down, he probably would have been a top 10 team most likely. A top 10 finish, get more points, get more playoff money, you get all that stuff. So yeah, why should Denny Hamlin be allowed to take out a driver just because he's not in the playoffs. That's what I don't. That's the bad part of this. What this chase has given, and I don't give a crap who it is. If somebody can beat you, they can beat you. It's fair and square. They shouldn't pull over and say, "Yeah, go ahead, go on by." I'll get you next year. No, those guys can still. There's 3 races left. You could have non-contenders win all 3, which I would be fine with, because the highest finisher of the 4 at Phoenix wins. He doesn't have to win the race, but it would be the champion. So you don't even have to win the race at Phoenix to be the champion. So don't denigrate or downgrade these other drivers who have just as much talent. And quite honestly, Chase Briscoe at his point in his career is 10 times where Denny Hamlin was at that age in his career. So he needs to remember that. He's a young man, good driver, and he'll be running for championship probably within the next 5 or 6 years. I'm pretty sure of that.
Hollywood Casino 400 Sunday. Coverage begins on WKOM 101.7 at 1 p.m. Is that right?
That is correct. We will have the broadcast on 101.7 starting at 1 will be the pre-race, and then at 2, it's all automated now, but at 2 will be the race.
All right. Before we let you out of here, Terry, you got to get silly with T. Willie one time.
I sure can. What is a vampire's favorite fruit?
Favorite fruit? Plum.
A nectarine.
A nectarine. Oh, come on now. All right. T. Willie. Appreciate you, buddy.
Thank you.
You can catch T. Willie weekday mornings from 9 to noon on WKRM, our sister station 103.7. Check him out. Again, 9 to noon every day on 103.7, bringing you all the great hits from decades and decades. So, all right. We're going to get out of here on the other side of the hour. We're talking college football, Braves, and Wild and Wacky Wednesday. Come right back. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Covering the teams you care about. It's Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Once again, live from the Lee Company studio with the Hall of Famer Mo Patton. Here's Chris Yao.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yao, Mo Patton, JP Plant. Hour number 2 of this Wednesday edition of the show. Coming to you from the Lee Company studio and the Front Porch Sports headquarters, WKOM 1017 FM, WZYXradio.net, and across the world on the internet. YouTube, check us out. Search Southern Middle Tennessee Sports. Twitter at SM_TN Sports. And we are also live on Facebook on several different outlets, including Southern Middle Tennessee Sports, Main Street Murray, and Main Street Preps. Plenty of places to find us. That's all I'm saying. If you want to find us, you can. Mo, we got some football tonight.
We do.
Kind of pumped.
I'm not sure how much of it I'll be watching.
No, and that's unfortunate too, because
it really is. Because I wouldn't mind. This is a game I would watch under normal circumstances. These ain't normal circumstances.
I got 2 TVs, so I might be able to make it happen. But the little TV will certainly be on the football game.
Yeah.
I don't quite have a setup just yet, like
Here's
JP.
Here's the thing. I don't know who would be interested in App State, Coastal Carolina, that won't be interested in Braves Dodgers.
That's the thing is, both of these teams are dead
definitely right in
center.
the middle of Braves country.
Yeah, they are right in it. And that's an unfortunate part for them is I guess there will probably be some national eyes on this just to see what Coastal looks like. Mm-hmm. On an opportunity to see what this top 15 group of 5 team looks like. But the fact is that they're pretty good. And
I'm not sure they're as good as last year.
Well, here's the thing. The fact of the matter is that whether or not they are as good as last year, they still have Grayson McCall. Mm-hmm. And he's a sophomore, by the way. And Grayson McCall is a guy who has number 6 in the country in quarterback rating. Got 14 touchdowns to 1 pick. Thrown for 1,500 yards, essentially. Oh, and by the way, he's from Indian Trail, North Carolina, so I'm sure he's got some stories about App State and Boone. So maybe they're not as good as last year. Appalachian State's certainly not as good as last year. But I think they're still pretty good.
Where is that game, just out of curiosity?
It is in Boone, North Carolina. Chase Bryce from Grayson, Georgia. Not Chase Rice, the country singer, former North Carolina football player. Chase Bryce out of Grayson, Georgia, is the senior quarterback for App State. He's thrown for more yards than Grayson McCall, but he's only thrown for 8 touchdowns and he has 5 picks on the year. They like to run the ball, though. And they're going to run it with Nate Noel. Because why not? Deck the halls.
Noel.
That's right. Yeah. And I'm really interested to see how this game's going to turn out because I am always down for Fun Belt action in the middle of the week. It's never a bad thing.
This game is in Boone. It's the 3rd week of October at night. It could be a little cold over there tonight.
Very well could be.
That is a great place to catch a college football game, especially at this time of year. You're right. It can get cold up in the mountain. Boone is pretty high up there.
JP?
Mm-hmm.
We know how little I like being cold.
Yeah.
Don't talk to me about catching a night game in Boone, North Carolina
fantastic.
in late October.
Couple extra layers, Mo?
Couple.
that stadium is built into the side of a mountain essentially. So it's got a natural bowl with one open end. It's phenomenal. They've got some rocks. They call it the Rock is one of their nicknames for the stadium. But it's a great college town. Great college town, nestled up in the mountains of the Blue Ridge Mountains in North Carolina, western North Carolina. It's fantastic.
According to AccuWeather, it's currently 66 degrees.
Oh wow, that's balmy in Boone.
Wow. Currently.
Currently.
I bet it drops in the 40s.
Sun's still up.
Sun's still out.
I bet it drops to the 40s before end of the game tonight.
I bet the sun is going down around the mountain though.
Right now,
it's
probably.
it's almost 6:10 Eastern time.
Yeah, it's.
Yeah, it's,
I don't know if it gets down into the 40s, but it's going to threaten when the sun goes down.
Gonna make you think about it.
Yeah.
And if that wind gets blowing,
What time are we looking at?
7:30 local.
Let's see here. Let's just at 9 o'clock. It's going to be 51 degrees.
See, I told you.
15 degrees from what it is to what it, yeah.
It's gonna be great.
Here's the thing:
Great? Is that what you said?
Absolutely.
0 wind.
Oh, see, that's nothing.
If there's no wind, I could probably handle it.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
71% humidity. It's going to be
gonna be
fine.
great. Yeah.
That'll be perfect football weather. Which leads me to believe Coastal Carolina ought to win this game going away.
Well, and foliage should be in prime.
Oh
peak
man,
season
it's going to
right
look
now.
good.
Yeah.
It's going to look good on television.
I hope they get some day shots before the sun goes down, maybe for some scenics. But yeah, that was one of my favorite places to go.
It sounds like it sounds like you
Love
got a
going to
little.
Boone.
Yeah.
Yep.
How far is that from Charlotte?
Charlotte, it's about 2.5 hours, maybe 3. It's not bad. Yeah.
So we know who Coastal Carolina's quarterback is going to be. We don't know who Florida's quarterback is going to be in 2 weeks. And this seems a little odd considering that Emory Jones started last week, didn't play down the stretch. Anthony Richardson led the offense to 4 straight touchdown drives in the second half. Seems to me that this is an Oklahoma-type situation. I thought Anthony Richardson should have been the quarterback before the Alabama game. But obviously Emory Jones came out and played pretty well against Alabama. Now, however, it appears that Anthony Richardson's probably or should be the guy. And, I mean, he's a freshman. If your freshman
So is Caleb Williams.
If your freshman gives you as good of a chance to win as an upperclassman, you play your freshman.
Yep.
Every time.
Every time.
So, I mean, I don't know what the question is here, other than you're playing Georgia.
You're questioning Dan Mullen's ability to come up with a quarterback? I mean, he's the quarterback whisperer, right?
He is. He's the quarterback guy. I mean, that's the thing is I don't understand why which he has 2 quarterbacks who are as good as each other, I think. I mean, sometimes Emory Jones plays really well. Sometimes Anthony Richardson plays really well. You don't really know who you're going to get either way.
I don't think there's been as much fluctuation with Richardson as there has been with Jones.
I agree. I mean,
I think there's been more peaks and valleys with Jones. I think Richardson's been a little bit more even-keeled in his play.
I would agree with that. 57% completion rate, 392 yards, 5 touchdowns, 3 picks for Richardson, but I wish I could find his rushing. There it is. Because he had 7 for 37 last week and a touchdown, but he ran for 115 yards against South Florida. So, I mean, he's got the ability to make some plays with his feet if necessary and extend plays especially. coming off this loss, but also it being a neutral site, where does Florida is Florida in an opportunistic situation where there's very little pressure on them now because they're 4-3 and they come in with nothing to lose and a freshman quarterback?
I think that's exactly the situation Florida's in. I don't think there's any pressure on them at all. I think Georgia, with the eyes of the nation on them at this point, can't afford to slip up.
I think it's the opposite. I think if you go inside the Florida Gators locker room, Dan Mullins,
He's
think
gotta
there's a
win.
ton of pressure. One, it's the biggest rivalry, so there's always pressure for that game. But if Florida ends up going, 4-4 at that point, you talk about that seat getting awfully warm, at least from the fans' perspective at Florida.
But
Their
don't you have
patience-
to be a little bit realistic about it and look at what Florida's done to this point and
Yeah,
look
we're-
at what Georgia's
we're
done?
talking about fans.
My bad.
No,
I'm sorry.
Come on.
My bad.
Come
yeah.
on, man.
You're right.
I think internally there's a ton of pressure on Florida.
That's tough
Yeah.
because,
It's hard enough to play Georgia.
Georgia's got to be if they were given some of the spreads that we've seen with Georgia over the past few weeks, they got to be at least a 2-touchdown favorite here, don't they?
Oh, yeah. It's probably
Easily.
20.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
They were a 20-point favorite over undefeated Kentucky.
right. 23,
So this-
23 wasn't it?
Yeah, 23 and a half. This may be
To
26.
which they were set to beat them by 23. It was a 23 and a half before Kentucky scored late.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, but anyway, yeah.
Which is exactly what JP said. He said they're going to beat them by 3 touchdowns, but they won't
not
beat,
by-
but not
but
3
not
touchdowns
that
and a field goal.
Uh-huh. Yep.
He nailed it. Right on.
I can start going first next,
yeah.
when we pick on Friday if you'd like.
No. It's way better to.
This guy.
Although he also said that Florida was going to destroy
I did,
LSU.
yeah.
Destroy. He said, quote,
Yeah.
destroy LSU. And that clearly,
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I totally whiffed on that one.
it's okay. I went 2-8, so I don't want to talk about it.
Okay.
I won the first 2 games of the day, though, and then lost the rest of them.
Should have stopped right there.
It was all Andrew. If Andrew had gone before me and I had known all those quarterback situations, I
Oh.
probably wouldn't have picked Boston College.
He's blaming the intern.
No, I'm saying that the order in which we chose to go
Yeah.
was my issue. If I next time I'm just going to call Andrew and be like, "What's the quarterback situation?"
Little insider info. What did you go last weekend?
Oh man.
Let me look real quick because I want to be sure I'm accurate with how this goes down.
Yeah, I know that there were times that JP and I picked pretty similarly, but I think he did pick 1 or 2 opposite. Like I think he did not go with BYU. I think he went with Baylor,
1, 2,
which they did
3,
not use that game as a
4,
fixer upper. By
5,
the way, BYU got
6.
sent
I went
home.
6-4.
See,
So did I. So there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
When I missed last week, I missed big. I missed that Florida. I missed BC, NC State.
that was the quarterback situation we didn't know about.
Yep. Missed Kansas State.
And Iowa State.
And
that
Iowa
was?
State.
Yeah.
Yeah. I missed BYU, but yeah. So, but I got Pitt, got Purdue, got Kentucky.
That was crazy. How did you get Purdue? How?
He didn't say they were going to win. He just said they would
We're going
cover.
to cover. Yeah.
Yeah, it was a big spread for Iowa, and I didn't think Iowa was ready to be
Be
the number 2 team in the country.
You
and
were clearly right.
and you look at what Purdue's won 4 of the last 6 games against Iowa.
College football is drunk.
You mentioned that Jeff Brom was going to be on the hot seat. Did they just get him off with that win?
I would think so. I mean, I
Well,
still think
that's-
you need to go bowling if you're Purdue. But that's a solid win, and that's a feather in your cap if you're Jeff Brom, for sure. And we got to mention T.J. Sheffield, former Independence star,
With a touchdown catch
with
in
the
that
touchdown
game.
catch.
Yes, sir.
That was pretty awesome. It was cool to watch. So we are going to continue hour 2. We're going to talk a little Atlanta Braves, as you can see if you're watching on the internet. Mo sporting the quarter zip, the opposite hat, and the pearls. Braves Dodgers on the other side. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
When the Braves play, Chris and Mo are talking about it.
Yeah, that's trash can juice.
Speak for yourself.
for better or worse, on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. Back to the Lee Company studio. Yep, they're fans too. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today, presented by Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint. Chris Yamo, Patton, JP Plant. Getting ready for Game 4. Getting ready to be hurt again, as always. Because that's what we do. We just get hurt. A couple of things that before we get into this Braves-Dodgers Game 3 recap, Game 4 preview. One, they held a press conference this morning at Nissan Stadium about the 2022 Winter Classic that will be held here in Nashville. NFL Commissioner Gary Bettman said the league
Excuse me.
Sorry?
NHL.
NHL.
Did I not say NHL?
No, you said NFL.
That too.
Well,
It's at an NFL stadium.
I
I can understand that.
there are those in the NFL that would probably take Gary Bettman.
There are plenty of them.
Plenty of the NHL would probably
Take
have him
Roger
go.
Goodell, yeah.
They'd like to have that TV revenue, if nothing else. Gary Bettman, NHL commissioner, says the league is thrilled to bring an outdoor game to Nashville. He said, the All-Star game in 2016, the 2017 Stanley Cup Finals. Quote, every time we come to Nashville, we know it's going to be special. And
May not be any party buses, but that's another story for another day.
may not be, will not be. And those, if there are any, there won't be any alcohol on them. So
Yeah.
that's a whole nother story. But wow, check out Main Street Nashville for a full story on Nashville's transportainment industry that is pretty well done for now.
It'll be different.
No question. Pretty cool that Nashville is getting this game.
It's pretty cool. You just hope it's pretty cool on that day.
Yeah, you don't want a replay of
Dallas?
Well,
Was
no,
that where
Dallas was fine. No, it was Lake in Nevada, Lake Tahoe,
Where it was too warm.
where the ice
couldn't
melted
get the
last
ice,
year.
yeah.
yeah. So, no, Dallas was fine. Dallas was, and it was 60 there, but which kind of sucked because we're decked out in
Cold
hockey
weather gear. Yeah.
yeah, and it was 60 and on New Year's Day is what it is. But I'm excited about it, and I think it's going to be really cool. If I get to go to this one, at least it won't be a shotgun trip.
Won't be a turn and burn to Dallas
Turn and burn
back.
to Dallas, exactly. So there's that. Also, Tennessee State homecoming is coming up next weekend, and
That's funny. So is Middles.
really, that's
Yeah.
awesome. The Cupcake Collection. Mignon Francois, who is a phenomenal story. If you've not read or heard Mignon Francois' story, please find an opportunity to go hear her speak because it is incredible. The Cupcake Collection is offering blue velvet cupcakes. So you can pre-order blue velvet cupcakes
For TSU's
for
homecoming?
TSU's homecoming next
Oh.
week-end.
Or MTSU's.
Or MTSU's homecoming for that matter, yeah.
There you
But
go.
the proceeds will go to TSU, so there's that. But,
Right color.
however you want to
Yeah.
celebrate, that's fine too. But you can pre-order those, and it's pretty cool. Obviously it's just chocolate with food coloring. So blue velvet cupcakes are delicious, and you can everything that the Cupcake Collection puts out is delicious. I'm just here to tell you.
I'm not familiar with the Cupcake Collection, but I'll take your word for it.
If you would like to sample the Cupcake Collection, go to Taziki's in Franklin. They have some for sale. You can get a 4-pack for like $6 or something.
Really?
Yeah. Do that. Make sure there's a strawberry in there. Trust me. Insane. Anyway, this was this message was brought to you by the Cupcake Collection. Clearly, even though it was not paid for. If they just send us some cupcakes, I promise we will be happy to talk about them all
Fair
they
trade.
want.
Fair trade.
Yeah, no question. But anyway, want to get into obviously this Game 3 not really a meltdown. I mean, Luke Jackson gave up 2 soft hits, which is what Luke Jackson does, and then he typically gets out of it. Unfortunately, Cody Bellinger decided he was going to take a really good pitch and ruin it.
Pitcher's pitch. I mean,
It was.
He elevated a fastball. He elevated the fastball out of the strike zone. It was going to be a ball, I believe.
Oh, it would have been.
Had Cody Bellinger not swung at it.
The only
we'd
issue
have much rather
was
that been the case.
the only issue was it was 2 inches high out of the zone, but it was 2 inches too far in. Had it been
Up and away.
a little bit farther away, even a half inch or so more outside, it's a foul ball. But it wasn't,
and it wasn't.
He barreled it, and he took it out of the park. That still just tied the game, though. And 2 batters later, Mookie Betts decides to hit one off the right center field fence, and
Another run is in.
another run is in. All 4 runs charged to Luke Jackson. And the Braves are now up 2-1 instead of up 3-0, which is, like you said yesterday, a little scary.
It is. I mean, I was concerned that just what will it take for the Dodgers to get their mojo back? And that 8th inning may have been it. I hope not. And I still feel like if the Braves can win 1 game in L.A., I think they'll be okay. But, you know.
Who are we throwing tomorrow?
Fried, I would assume.
See, I thought we were going to have Fried and Morton in Atlanta. But it
Then
appears
that's
it's going to
Anderson
be
tomorrow.
Fried, Anderson.
I figured it would be Fried, Anderson, Morton. Just like we started it. But,
man, that's kind of scary. But, yeah, you're right. I mean, Max Fried.
well, I mean, I think I like Fried in Game 5, particularly if they don't win this one.
Right. You definitely don't want to come back down 3-2.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, this is a bullpen game that we expected a Wascari
And
Noah to
not
start.
only is it a bullpen game, but it's a bullpen game minus
Wascari
one of the
Noah.
guys that was going to be in that mix because Wascari Noah was scheduled to start, had been announced as a
and
starter.
could have gone 3, 4, or 5. I mean, depending on how well he pitched, he could have gone 6 innings. I mean, this is a guy.
He's done that before.
He's done
in a bullpen start.
Right. So, I mean, this is a guy that you felt like could be important.
Yeah. Instead, shoulder inflammation
Makes him day to day.
aren't we all? But
Can I walk you guys off the ledge for a little bit here?
You can try.
please.
All right. All right. 2-1, right?
2-1.
2-1. The Braves have seen every bullpen pitcher the Dodgers have
They threw 9 last
on the
night.
roster.
9
They've seen 'em.
pitchers.
So
Hey,
they.
is David Price on the roster
I don't think
for
so.
the NLCS?
I don't
think
believe
he
so.
is.
Mm-mm. So they've seen.
That's amazing to
They've
me.
seen every pitcher
that the Dodgers have.
the bullpen that they have, and they know how they're going to attack the Braves. So the Braves have something to counteract with when they see them again. So key to continue to get into the Dodgers bullpen, they will wear down, and the Braves will start to take advantage. And the starting pitching for the Braves is still getting the job done.
You're right.
You're not wrong.
You're right there. The problem is
And
that
they have the entire
today we
postseason.
don't have a starting pitcher. That's the problem. Is that we're conceding Game 4 when I don't know if we should be or not.
I don't
But-
see any reason why you should be.
But
I mean,
our bullpen has pitched really good
if you
overall.
who's starting for the Dodgers tonight?
Urias.
Okay, well,
Which
hey, we already
we've
knocked
hit
the
him.
rust off of that.
Yeah, we've hit
So
him.
there shouldn't be any kind of opinion of we can't hit Urias. Well, you just did in the postseason. So hit him again, get him out of the game, get to the bullpen, and you've got a shot.
You're not wrong. I
You
guess
just-
my
you-
concern is is there a hangover from last year when we got up 2-0 and 3-1 on this same team?
I mean, I understand why you.
I think this team is built differently than that team, but
there's a lot of different players too.
They're performing differently too. Yep. Again, the pitching is dramatically different than it was last year.
Even the bullpen. I mean, last night was an anomaly for Luke Jackson.
Absolutely.
This bullpen has been phenomenal the entire series.
That was just a great hit by Cody Bellinger.
Yeah.
It was a really good hit.
And like I tweeted this morning, sometimes you just got to tip your hat.
Exactly.
I mean, those guys are getting paid too.
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's what Mookie said. He said, tell him you drive a Benz too. I mean, that's what he said. So, I mean, Mookie's not wrong.
No, he's
these
not.
Guys, and these are the Dodgers. We knew this coming in. I don't think there is a Braves fan in America, certainly not in this room, who thought the Atlanta Braves should come in and win this series in 5 games. If we were going to win this series, it was probably going to be in 6, maybe 7.
Maybe, yeah.
If we were going to win this series. And
I don't know that anybody was just dead certain that we were going to win this series.
Oh, nobody.
No, I don't think anybody had them winning.
Nobody, even Braves fans. I mean, in a logical scenario, you think we're not supposed to be here. We don't have Jorge Soler. We don't have, we don't have Ronald Acuna. There's so much that we are missing. Now, granted, they're missing Max Muncy. They don't have Bauer or Kershaw. So I get it. Like, they got some problems too. It's about even as far as injuries are concerned. The
but
problem
they won
is
100 and something ball games.
the problem is that they're deeper than we are, and our guys are a bunch of ragtag, cast-offs from the Indians and the Royals and the Dodgers /
Cubs.
They got more of a chip on their shoulder.
We do,
and
I think the Braves play with a chip.
I was
and
watching.
They should.
I was watching some of Jackson's reaction last night. He was in the post-game presser, and he held his own, obviously, with his responses, but he said he wouldn't change a thing. He was asked, what would you change? He said, no, I thought it was a great pitch when it left my hand. And the way he pitched that whole inning, he said, I wouldn't change a thing. They just made a great play, good timely hits, and he said we've got a really tight group because the question about how are you different from last year, the hangover question, paraphrasing, and he said, this is a group of guys that we believe in ourselves, and we're great in the locker room and the clubhouse, and so I was really pleased with that response.
Yeah,
I don't think they're rattled at all.
I don't think they're rattled. I just don't know that. I feel like the Dodgers were dead in the water, as Dave Roberts said. We were dead in the water.
Well,
and then that home run rejuvenated this entire offense. Now, last year in Game 3, they came out, they scored 8 runs in the first inning, and it was a cruise. It was cruise control from there. Now, they had to fight for this one, and they had to use 9 pitchers. That's where I think that we still have a little bit of an advantage. If there's any chance or any way to get to that bullpen
early
in the 3rd, 4th, or 5th inning tonight,
that's the key.
That's where the Braves have an opportunity. Even if they lose this one, I still feel good going into a free Scherzer matchup because, one, we do know Max Scherzer. And that 2nd or 3rd time through the lineup, we're going to hit him. And then that bullpen still has to come in just one day rest.
And suddenly that's a tired bullpen.
They're tired.
A tired and overused bullpen.
And he's overused them for sure.
My thing is, I'm just not sure we have enough answers today.
That's my concern is I don't think we can get blown out today. If we get blown out today,
no, we've got to keep at worst. If we lose,
make them
fight.
We
have to keep this close and make them burn arms, like you said.
They've got to fight. Yeah. So, yeah, that's where I am. I'm not necessarily on the ledge. I'm just saying that I feel like we're going back to Atlanta for sure.
Oh.
I think. Now, would I love to not have to? Would I love for the Dodgers fans to have to watch their team lose to the Atlanta Braves?
Oh, would I love to celebrate in their stadium?
Gosh, it would be great.
Oh, man.
But it's not going to happen. It is what it is. Wild and Wacky Wednesday coming up on
No
the other
faith.
side of.
No faith.
We're
Just
Atlanta
being,
sports
keeping
fans,
it
man.
real, man.
Yeah, we're Atlanta sports fans. I don't know what you want from me.
But you got to watch what's happening. The Braves have been outplaying them, and I think.
So you think they're going to win this thing in L.A.? You think they're going to win tonight and tomorrow?
I can't guarantee tonight.
Well, if they don't win tonight, then they're going back to Atlanta.
But they've got a chance. They've got a chance.
I'll be interested to watch it. We will be watching.
I won't be mad at you if you're right.
That's right. We'll be right back with Wild and Wacky Wednesday on the other side of the break. Stick around. Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Day returns after this. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint treats your orthopedic injuries and existing conditions. Our trained physicians will get you back in the game faster. Contact us at 931-381-2663 or www.mtbj.net.
Fast Stop Markets is a full-service, family-owned convenience store chain located in 14 locations throughout Middle and West Tennessee. For those in our listening area, you can find them in Columbia, Centerville, Lawrenceburg, Spring Hill, Dixon, and White Bluff.
Fast Stop partners with wholesale fuel brands like Shell, Marathon, and Exxon, delivering a consistent customer experience that is fast, friendly, and clean. If it's not already, it will soon become your go-to store to shop in town or on the road. Fast Stop Markets is proud to be keeping you moving in Tennessee.
Keep your home as comfortable as possible. If you have any issues with your air conditioner, electrical, or plumbing systems, call Lee Company. Our techs use visual findings and other technology tools to add transparency and clarity. You see what we see, whether we're in a crawl space or on the roof. We're here 24/7, so if you need us, call us. Lee Company. Call 931-548-4448 today or schedule your appointment at leecompany.com. That's leecompany.com.
Hey folks, while we take a quick break from the show, I want to tell you about our friends over at Custom Stone Handlers in downtown Columbia. Ned Rich and his team at Custom Stone Handlers believe in leadership. And outside of the military, our greatest leader building platform is sports. Custom Stone Handlers proudly encourages young people to get in the game. You can contact them today at 931-490-4990 or visit CustomStonehandlers.com. Mid-Tennessee Bone and Joint has been the official sports medicine provider for Murray County Schools for more than 40 years. We specialize in orthopedic injuries, and our Ortho Quick walk-in service lets you bypass the ER. Visit us online at www.mtbj.net.
Wild and Wacky Wednesday on Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today with the two zaniest guys this side of the Duck River. It's like you joined a circus or something. Here's Chris and Mo.
Welcome back in Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. I texted Sarah and said, so tzatziki's for dinner? And she said, that sounds wonderful. And I was like, I know, right? We've not had tzatziki since we moved out to Nashville. So it's been about a year.
Well, explain why you got to the idea.
How we got
of
to tzatziki's.
tzatziki's.
Well, if you were listening in the last segment, we were talking about tzatziki's selling the cupcake collection, which has blue velvet cupcakes for Tennessee State's homecoming. But yeah, so we're talking it through, and I'm like, man, I kind of want tzatziki's for dinner now. So there you go.
There you go.
Tzatziki's it is. I'll probably get a 4-pack of cupcakes too.
I may run and get a 4-pack. I don't know what we're having for dinner, but
You might be having tzatziki's too. Who knows? Oh man, it's Wild and Wacky Wednesday with the weirdest and wildest news from across the world. And I think we got to start with what's Hernandez's first name? Dylan Hernandez. I'm surprised this wasn't Dylan Hernandez who got the gun
threatened
pulled
with
on
a
him.
gun at Waffle House. Well, he'd have to have been at Waffle House first.
Well, I thought he and old buddy were
Plaschke?
Bill Plaschke were hanging out at Waffle House. It sure sounded like they were.
No, I don't think they were hanging out at Waffle House. They'd have got that butt beat if they'd have been hanging out
they
at Waffle
wouldn't.
House.
Not even. Yeah, they wouldn't have made it out.
No.
Bill Plaschke and Dylan Hernandez, who are LA Times columnists, talking trash.
Journalists, supposedly.
One of them is a column. Plaschke's a columnist.
Yeah, I mean, do you discern between columnists and journalists?
Well, I think there's a little bit of a. You have more leeway as
Yeah,
a columnist
you do.
to write stupid stuff like what they wrote.
I'm just. It's mind-boggling to me that regardless of what your title is with your publication, that you would go out of your way to antagonize another fan base.
Absolutely trash them. Not antagonize, just trash the Atlanta fan base.
to get readers. I mean, that's clicks. Why else?
He's not wrong.
It's clickbait.
He's not wrong.
I hope it's worth it.
Well,
I mean, it is a legitimized
Bill
tactic.
Plaschke used to be one of
today.
the best journalists in sports.
Mm-hmm.
Used to be. Anyway,
Yeah.
I guess this is what happens when a waitress who deals with drunk people all the time finally just snaps. Because I've been to Waffle House drunk. I know most of the people listening to us have.
Have you been to Waffle House sober?
I have. Dude, I go to Waffle House in the morning all the time. I love Waffle
I have
House. I go to Waffle House all the time. I'm here for Waffle House no matter
I
what.
could do Waffle House any time of day in any state of mind.
Please give me Waffle House.
Scattered, covered, and that's it.
Nope.
Scattered, covered, chunked. No, not chunked.
That's ham.
That's ham.
Mm-hmm.
No,
Ham is cool though.
scattered, smothered, covered, and capped.
No,
That's it.
I'm not.
Nailed it.
I'm not
Mushrooms.
smothered.
Nailed
Mushrooms. You don't get the cheese
No,
or
I
the
get-
onions.
it.
I don't
want
get
it-
the onions.
He don't want it capped or
Or smothered.
yeah,
But chunked is cool. But
Yeah.
crisp.
extra crispy.
Extra crispy.
Scattered, covered, crisp.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Double order.
You can get it. I'm down for it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm down for it. But the
You're like John Belushi in Blues Brothers.
Dry toast.
Dry toast. 4 pieces of dry toast.
And I have a chicken.
It's
you
Jake!
get
Now
the,
what?
Blues Brothers. Yeah. You're the dry toast. Your ordering habits.
How much for the little guy?
anyway. A guy named Candy Franklin goes into Waffle House in downtown Atlanta on Wednesday, and we don't know if he'd been drinking or not, but it was 1 a.m.
But it was a weeknight.
It depends. Is it 1 a.m. or 1 p.m? For Candy here, we don't know. Because remember,
and that makes
there is
all
a
the
difference.
difference.
I think
Yeah.
going to Waffle House, that's probably
1 at night.
Well, I'll tell you. Well,
would be my guess.
yeah. Because, I mean, this guy was probably It's the middle of the week. He's probably just getting off from work.
So that's the thing is this is so right when all the drunk people came in. Well, how many drunk people are there on a Wednesday night in downtown Atlanta? I don't know.
I bet there are a ton.
Well, I don't know because, again,
Maybe.
if this is 1 a.m. Wednesday, then this is Tuesday night / Wednesday morning.
Right.
Correct.
So
Still
who's
Tuesday.
who's out getting drunk on a Tuesday night?
Well, it may have been the cook because he ordered some eggs with cheese and they forgot the eggs and cheese. So he, complained. And then
Forgot both the eggs and
And the
cheese.
cheese.
it's cheese eggs,
Yeah.
I assume.
Well, scrambled eggs with cheese, yeah.
Yes, I'm assuming that's what he ordered and they forgot that portion of his meal.
Oh,
So you've got a little bit more detail than I've got, but
Well, essentially, they didn't have cheese. So he complained again. He eventually got the cheesy eggs he ordered. But then, while he was checking to make sure they were right, he saw people running out of the restaurant. When he looked up, the waitress had a gun. Janie's got a gun. Actually, it's Angelic.
Angelic Patterson.
Angelic pulled a gun on Candy. This is the wildest story I've ever heard. At the Waffle House.
The names. It's fitting, yeah.
I didn't realize that they was going strapped at Waffle House because here's true story.
If you are a waitress at a Waffle House, you better be
You better be
packed.
strapped. Huh? Okay. Now, so when we went to Atlanta for the Mets game a couple of weeks ago, we wound up at Waffle House because the establishment that we went to previously, we sat for an hour and a half and never got our order. So we wound up at Waffle House at about 1 a.m. And so I guess I'm glad I didn't get a gun pointed at me.
Well, if you had gone to Angelic's Waffle House, you might have. Here's the thing.
They had cheese at your Waffle House.
They did.
So he didn't complain.
I'm-
So Angelic pulls the gun, threatens to shoot, and he's like, "You're not going to shoot me over some eggs?" So you know what she said? And this is the FCC approved version. Test that assumption at your earliest convenience, which is another way of saying around and find out. And she pulls the gun back, cocks it, and
she
says,
wrecked it.
"Bet."
Oh, Lord.
So he left.
Angelic don't play?
She's not playing. Don't play with Angelic, but she is facing charges for aggravated assault now.
You think?
Yeah. So Angelic is that like a nickname like you would call somebody that's a little
Tiny.
heavy set, tiny?
Yeah.
She's
It
Angelic.
is an ironic nickname, yes. It's a very ironic nickname.
Oh, goodness.
Hey, listen. Y'all remember back when you used to have to, like, pay for text messages? Like, per text?
Yeah.
It was like 10 cents a text or whatever?
Yeah, my parents do.
Exactly. So here's the thing.
Paying for my text.
So when I finally got texting, I was like, "Oh, this is cool. I'll just text everybody." Except I didn't realize what that meant. Because I'm the guy who you had to call after 9 when it was free, kind of thing.
Or if they call before you just didn't answer. huh?
Exactly. I don't
No.
leave a voicemail. I'll
I
call
got
you
your
back.
number here and here. I'll call you
I'll call you
back.
back after 9.
Don't call me, I'll call you.
So here's the thing: is Fisher Price has began to sell a new model of their classic little toy phone, except it's Bluetooth capable and it makes real phone calls.
Oh boy. Oh boy.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh.
I thought this was a good idea.
Apparently
Fisher
Fisher
Price.
Price. The car. You can pull it and it makes noise and it looks like it's got a face on the. Well, they've made this into a real phone. Yeah, it pairs with your smartphone, so your kids can use it to make an actual phone call. I guess keep your phone in your hand when your kids are playing with this, and make sure you hit end. I don't know,
Wow.
but it costs $60. Anyway, I just that's not like funny, but it's kind of like, what are we doing here?
This is one of those. It's
I mean, they're also selling the normal non-Bluetooth version for $10, but with that one, you have to go back to just pretending you're on the phone. So I mean,
Which is just fine.
I can assure you, Charlie will not be having a Bluetooth capable Fisher Price phone. She's going to have the normal one
You say that.
that I can get at the yard sale for $2 or whatever.
You say that. Just wait.
No, she's not. No, no, thank you. Hey, Mo, I've seen a lot of weird stuff in my day covering high school sports. I know you have too. What you have not seen, I'm sure, is... Matter of fact, before I even get into this, a student at Columbia Central during the Franklin County game jumps the fence and runs across the field. Yeah. I'm in the press box, and Pointer's like, I'm not chasing him. We'll get his identity later. This was during the fair. So, like, gosh knows what's going on. Anyway, what I've not seen, however, is a 27-year-old woman in Missouri who was on drugs and got paranoid, ran out of her house naked, and ended up streaking across the football field of an 8th grade practice. The 8th grade football practice, yeah. That's not ideal. Jefferson City, Missouri. She ran onto the field wearing only a scarf. And 29 8th grade boys at dreams came true. I mean, I don't care what any of them tell you.
Goodness gracious.
Every one of them dreamed about that day. You know that dream you have when you show up to school and you're only in your underwear kind of thing? Like, I feel like this lady is going to think, I can't believe that wasn't a dream.
Nope.
She told the cops she was at home doing drugs when she got paranoid, thought she was going to die, and ran outside to find help. Apparently, she ingested heroin. They took her to the hospital to get checked out and then took her to jail. She's facing a felony charge for sexual misconduct involving children. That's unfortunate.
Oh, wow.
Well,
Unintended consequences, right?
Here's her mugshot.
With her scarf.
With a scarf included.
Her scarf.
No, I think that's just her hair.
Oh, okay. My bad.
Yeah, that's just her hair.
Oh.
You can certainly tell she's she's tried some things.
Yeah.
She had red hair, but she was doing heroin, not meth. Now this person,
and not from Lawrence County.
she was not from Lawrence County,
That you know of.
Alabama or Tennessee.
It's true.
Jefferson City is, I guess, in Jefferson County, probably Missouri, but there is a Lawrence County, Missouri. So I don't know. Last one. Maybe this is the imaginary girlfriend that our 43-year-old guy in Florida was arrested for looking for. Matthew Huber was arrested trying to break into someone's truck outside a Walmart of Vero Beach, Florida on Tuesday, and he told the cops he was looking for stuff to steal because he needed money to see his imaginary girlfriend again. Girlfriend's name is Emma, and he only sees her when he's on meth. There you go. That's somebody on the Fisher Price phone calling JP.
Don't answer that.
So Emma is only available to him when he's high on methamphetamines. And yeah, he was looking for stuff to steal so he could sell it to use the money to buy more drugs so he could see Emma. And now he's facing a felony charge for burglary and another charge for carrying a concealed weapon while committing a crime because he had a knife on him. That's just piling on there.
Don't guess he'll be seeing Emma anytime soon.
Yeah. Probably not. So poor guy.
That's tough.
That's Florida man for you. And
He's gonna have to ride Emma.
Yeah. Well, here's my favorite one. 3 carjackers thwarted by an MMA fighter, a manual transmission, and a K-9 officer. Yep. A lot of criminals are stupid and they make a stupid decision, but others will employ a Swiss Army knife of stupidity, and that's the case here. As 3 carjackers attempted to steal a car in Virginia on Tuesday, their interesting decision was attempting the theft outside of a gym. One of the thieves was about to get the keys from the owner, but the owner was trained in mixed martial arts and he fought back. The guy grabbed the keys, tries to get in the car, but he couldn't do anything because it had a manual transmission. He couldn't steal it. So before that, police get on their trail in the woods and they lead the cops on a high-speed chase. Eventually, they're pulled over, run into the woods, and the K-9 gets them. So there you go. That's Wild and Wacky Wednesday. We'll be back tomorrow at 4 o'clock with some volleyball results. Come back, Southern Middle Tennessee Sports Today. For Mo and JP, I'm Chris Yao saying have a great day. Stay cool, Columbia.